When I get into the car, for me, there's a sense of nostalgia. Vintage cars have soul. Doesn't smell like cars smell like today. It doesn't sound like cars do today. For me, it's nostalgic in a way that I remember when I was a child in late 60s and early 70s cars. And then from a driving experience, it really requires a lot of attention, like all old cars do. There's a good chance it's probably going to break down before you get home. You have to be comfortable that you know that car so well, you're going to be able to get through the problem. It doesn't help you in any way. There's no nanny aids, there's no steering compensation, there's no anti-lock brakes, and so you have to pay attention when you're driving the car. And I think once you understand it and you know those idiosyncrasies of that vehicle, you make a connection, and I guess that's what owning an old car is all about. What makes a great car great? For me, it has to have aesthetics and look, and for a sports car, I prefer that to be a classic look. So black on black car with chrome bits. The interior for me has to have a vintage or a retro aesthetic. And then the car has to have personality. When you get in the car, you have to treat it the way that it wants to be treated in order to give you the most out of it. And this car has that. And it can't let you down. And that has to be a part of the partnership. The 67 Corvette delivers that for me. My name is Matt Euson, and I drive a 1967 Corvette Coupe. The previous owner owned a vintage Corvette sales lot. It's called USA Corvette in Schererville, Indiana. And of all the Corvettes that he bought and sold, this was the car that he kept as his personal car. And I wish that he was still alive to ask him why this car. But I think every time I'm in the car driving it, I know why this car. The car was 100% factory, but I fell in love with the car. I wanted to make it mine, and so I started that process. I ordered some paperwork on the car, and it stated that the car was sold new at a dealership in Brownsburg, Indiana. That had significance for me because after my parents divorced, my father moved to Brownsburg. So just kind of a neat tie to me that the car was sold new at a dealership where I grew up when I was a kid. It was meant to compete with European sports cars. And so by 1967, the final iteration of the C2, it was very much a sports car. It was not a muscle car. It wasn't a family car. The muscle cars were defined as having a back seat and huge engines on large frames, whereas this car was a little more road racing type geared. The car was born with a 327, 300 horse motor. It's a front engine, mid-60s sports car, so it's gonna have a little bit of push, but every bit as smooth as a modern car. You're not making any compromises when you drive this. In my collection, I own faster cars. I own cars that perform better. I can be comfortable in this car. It's kind of an everyman's car. Parts are readily available from a lot of different sources. I can get in the car and enjoy it. I can drive the heck out of it and not worry about a rock chip or if something malfunctions or breaks, because it's not a big deal. We'll just fix the car and move on. And so when you're in the car, you're more relaxed. You're having a better time. You're enjoying the car a little bit more. The car's comfortable in that way. Can't pass a gas pump or a garage without someone coming out and saying, my dad had one just like that, my brother had one like that, I owned one like that. There's a sense of accomplishment with keeping a vintage car driving at its best to fix a small problem, and the car either runs better, responds better, starts better, whatever it might be. That brings me some joy. If you own cars and you don't let other people enjoy your cars, it can feel selfish to me. A good friend of mine borrowed the car for his wedding. I left it outside with the keys in it, and he picked it up, and now he'll have lifelong memories of that car and what it meant to him and what it meant to his wife. And so that's all part of the automotive experience, and that's all part of the car culture. You're instilling something in that child or in that friend that is always going to be with them. And I think that's how you keep the car culture going. You have to share these things.